Merry Christmas! We try to live the message of Christmas all year, and it's great that we have a day of celebration or a month of celebration, if you're one of us, when we actually celebrate the message and the mission of Jesus Christ as a gift from the Father. During the rest of the year, we're trying to live the Christmas message. We're trying to follow his teachings and trying to be the good disciples, the good becomers of that Christ made manifest. But it's a very treasure time that we can take to humble ourselves and to recognize and acknowledge the gift that he brought so many years ago. So when we are aware of Christmas, there is always that spiritual awareness behind everything that we see and everything that we do. Do you realize that there is a spiritual connotation behind every Christmas tree? That when you look at a Christmas tree, it actually represents Christianity. We were the ones that adopted it from the pagans who used it to bring a tree into their home to acknowledge their connection with God. They were in the thick of winter, and they would bring something green into their home to talk to God and to say, don't forget us for the spring. Oh, do bring the green back. And so they were connecting with God when they did that. And Christianity has adopted that. We decorate it. And so whether someone is aware of it or not, when they do the Christmas tree, there's that energy of that spiritual connotation underlying it. Do you not feel that when you see it? So there is always something about God, about Jesus, and about love. And we feel happy. Do you ever look at a Christmas tree and go, oh, jeez. You go, oh, look what they did. Look how pretty it sparkles. Oh, that's so pretty. We are breathing in and feeling that beautiful love that is underlying the act of the tree itself. So it begins to represent not only that spiritual love, but it also begins to represent the human love. The human who put the tree up and put the ornaments on it has a vibration where they're wanting to bring in and touch a love that they may not even have words for. Even if they have no religious background or whatever, they feel something in it. And they put their human love in it as they're decorating it and as they're preparing it, right? So we feel that as well. We feel this beautiful energy of celebration with all the decorations, but particularly the tree is what I'm going to focus on today. Underneath it is the underlying vibration of spirit and of humanity. And this allows our higher self and our angels to move into us when we open to that joy and awareness. When we open and go, oh, all the beautiful Christmas angels go, yeah. Oof. Your higher self goes, yeah. Oof. And we begin to lift to a higher frequency. We begin to lift up. This is the time, I tell you, every year where the Christmas angels just gather. All the angels that gathered at his coming are here now with us. They're here to help us lift up and help us be supported in our humanness. So they provide all the love that we can hold. And the more we receive, the more there is to give. Isn't that such an awesome thing to go through? Everything I've said is true. Yet when I ask each one of you to look back at your history, I imagine that every single one of you has a story where you weren't quite feeling it. A time of Christmas where it was like, okay, they can't make me do it, and I'm not gonna. I will not be happy. I am not going to feel it. I'm not. Or circumstances made you feel less than or something like that. And we all have those moments. My little story, I have a gazillion of them. But I always teach my students, don't tell a story till you can tell it without crying. So here's one I can tell without crying. It's just a wee story. But when I was a little girl, I was in 4th grade, and my brother was in 3rd grade, and my sister was in 5th. We were 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. And my sister, back in the day, they did little crafts at school. And she came home one day, I think it was right before Christmas break, we were in Las Vegas, and they had taken a paperback book, and you fold it in a certain way, and you glue it, and then you spray it, and it looks like a little Christmas tree. Did you? Yeah. I've tried to do it many times, can't do it. Don't have any idea how it's done. But she brought this cute little tree home, and it was like, oh, that's so cute, and we're all getting happy and ready. And my father lived at the test site. He was in charge of security at the Nevada test site, so we saw him on the weekends. And so we walked in, we're happy, we're ready for Christmas celebration to begin, and we're going to church, we're happy kids. And my mom came in and she said, your father called and he has decided that you all are too old for a Christmas tree. And we went, what? And I was like, oh my God, what? And my little brother, my third grade little brother, goes, we have our Christmas tree. And he walked over to that thing my sister had brought home, and he goes, we've got our tree. He can't take that away from us. And we all three gathered around this paperback novel that had been smushed into a thing and painted. And that was our tree that year. And my father never bought another tree that while I knew him as a child or as an adult, ever again. When we got older and were working and could drive and had our own car, 16, 17, my sister made sure we had a tree every year. So sometimes the energy of our human love feels like it can be taken from us, doesn't it? Sometimes it feels like that love of spirit we can feel, but when the human love is gone, what happens to your love of spirit? The openness starts to close. And you say, my humans don't love me. If my humans don't love me, where's my God love? And I can inventory every single one of you, and I know you have at least one of those stories where Christmas went down, And I know that we deal with it, and I know that we process it. I asked Patrick on our drive yesterday, I said, honey, were your Christmases always so hard? And he goes, what do you mean hard? And I said, remember your parents couldn't afford gifts, 6 children, family of 8, couldn't afford gifts, so after Christmas Day, they would go buy you on the sale something? And he goes, why are you reminding me of that? I have that squashed way down. And he started fake crying all over me. I was happy. But we so need that human experience, don't we? We so need human love in addition to spiritual love. And the human love is reflected in the beautiful things that we see around us. And sometimes it doesn't come to us by those that are around us. Sometimes it comes to us elsewhere. So everyone has had these moments where we have felt that lack, but we can still turn and look if we have it in us to know that Christmas tree represents someone's great love. I walked in and Terry and Charmaine were doing that tree, and it was like, okay, guys, over my head, this is out of my level of expertise, they were here almost all day. And I said, how are you guys doing that? I felt like I needed to write them a check. And they're saying, we love this stuff. We love it. And you can see the love in it that they contributed. So there's always love in the human connection when we are open to find it. And it's there. It's there around us. It's there from the people that we don't know. They're demonstrating their human love. Always there's enough. I did have the experience, I wanted to share one other little story with someone who has given me permission to share this story that you may or may not know. And it happened that we were talking about Christmas one day, and she said to me, yeah, when I was little, her mom found herself divorced with 4 tiny children, 4 little kids. I mean, they were grade school kids probably, but they were young. And she said in one year that the mom drove them to a big warehouse. She went to a warehouse, and I think there was a Santa there. And she said, we got to go in and pick out a toy. And I went, oh, honey, how did you feel? Do you see my face? Oh, honey. And her eyes blazed open, and they got bright. And she goes, I got to get a toy. She was happy. She was happy. You see how we in our mind think of the lack aspect? But to her, the child receiving it was like, hey, man, that is Christmas. And this young girl, guess who she loves dearly? Santa. Santa Claus. Loves Santa because it represents the love of being able to receive the gifts from the universe. But who put that gift in that warehouse for her to receive? But another human. Another human that said somebody's going to need a present this year. And all of you, what do you think you did to that family of 10 children this year, or that you showered with gifts? That human love that you gave to them is filled with your personal gifting to them. I support you. And in that, they also feel the spiritual love because it came from a spiritual family. Y'all, there's always enough human love. We just sometimes have to see it someplace else. And we can't always turn to our partner and say, I need some love, dude. You know, metaphysically, we learn how to receive, don't we? And we also learn how to give, and we learn how to gift ourselves. Oftentimes, I'll tell Patrick what he got me for Christmas. And I will also gift myself something for Christmas. You know, we learn to receive, we learn to take it in. And if we don't have the budget to get what we want, get something that you love and take it in. Are you guys feeling the humanity of it all? This is a wonderful time, and I'm so glad the world, in spite of any divergent beliefs, still puts up those beautiful trees and that beautiful light. So, in our Christmas story, we have adopted the magical tree that opens the door to love. We've adopted that. So that's a part of our story. Remember we talked about the divergent stories a couple of Sundays ago? So we are about, in metaphysical Christianity, we're about expressing love, expressing through each other, love expressing through God. And when we love one another, are we not also experiencing God? And when we love one another, are we not also lifting the vibration of the world around us? And if that person can't receive, should we be upset? No. Just love. Just love. And they can take in what they can take in. Love is never lost. So we do not need to get our bucket full of human love in order for us to give. We just have to give. And we don't need to have a lack of human love in order to receive. We just have to receive to be in the beautiful flow. So I wanted now to take us to the spiritual side, just to share with you this metaphysics side of our story. We got the human side, right? And I hope every time you see a Christmas tree, you go, I accept the love, I accept the love. Every time you drive by someone's house and see the lights, yay, 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 thank you. Okay? All right. This is our metaphysical story. Korean Gospel. Everybody take a breath. From the great heart of love, unnumbered spirits were sent forth to demonstrate the height, the depth, and the width, and the boundlessness of love. They were sent throughout the universe. Man lost his consciousness of right after he came to the earth. He started creating, interestingly. If you saw our Metaphysics of Christmas, you understand. Man lost his consciousness of right. He didn't know what was right. He could no longer comprehend the boundlessness of love. He could see nothing but self and the things of self. But Christ was there to seek the lost and save. And so that he might be close to man in all the ways of life, that man might comprehend the mighty spirit of love, the Christ of earth made manifest to human eyes, by taking his abode in some pure person well prepared by many lifetimes to be a fit abiding place of love. Thus Christ made manifest love's power to save. We could say it this way, so that he might be close to man in all the ways of life, God manifest in human eyes and ears. The pure Christ manifest in human eyes and ears so that we could see. We had been beautiful children of God and done some interesting things and forgot. We forgot. It's just like those moments when you have that lack in the human love and you forget that God loves you right where you are. In our text, it says that Mary was greeted by Gabriel, and Gabriel told her she would have a son named Emmanuel and to name him Jesus. And it says when Joseph's daily task was done, Mary told him all the words that Gabriel said, and they rejoiced and they believed the man of God was true. So this, in our story, we have the coming together in celebration. Then Zacharias, John's dad, said, "For soon the day star from on high will visit us to light the way for those who sit within the darkness of the shadow land and guide our feet to ways of peace." So as the scene is being set for Jesus Christ to be born, the adults are opening. The adults are saying, yes, this is going to be a gift from God, our Father. It's going to affect us all. It's going to open the way for our hearts to feel the Christ yet again, to be children of God again. You see? So there were many, many people who had to be in place before the gift could be given. In chapter 3, it says this. They went to Bethlehem. I'm paraphrasing that part. They could find no place to rest, but in a cave where animals were kept. At midnight came a cry, "A child is born in yonder cave among the beasts, and lo, the promised Son of Man was born." And strangers took the little one and wrapped him in dainty robes that Mary had prepared, and laid him in a trough, from which the beasts of burden fed. 3 persons clad in snow-white robes came in and stood before the child and said, "All strength, all wisdom, all love be yours, Emmanuel." And in other texts we would call those beings angels. On the hills of Bethlehem, the shepherds were with their flocks of sheep. They were devout men of prayer, waiting for a strong deliverer to come. And when the child of promise came, a snow-white robed man appeared to them, and they fell back in fear. And he said, "Fear not. Behold, I bring you joyful news. At midnight in a cave in Bethlehem was born the prophet and the king you have long been waiting for." They were glad, and they felt that the hills were then filled with messengers of light, saying, "Glory be to God on high, peace, peace on earth, goodwill to men." And then they made haste so that they could find the king. Again, the angels singing. They came, saw the king, and then a shepherdess whose home was nearby prepared a room for Mary and Joseph and the child, and they stayed many days. It does go on to say that in later days, the 3 wise men had seen the sign of a master soul being born, and they knew he was the master of the coming age, and then they came and found him and brought the symbol of nobility, gold, myrrh, the symbol of dominion and power, and gumthos, the symbol of wisdom. So we have in our story the elements of the divine yet again interacting with man. Divine energy, the angels appearing, the wise men seeing it, everybody coming together. It's full of divine beings interacting with mankind and acting as if man is a divine being, reminding us that we were divine children, spirits of God. By their appearance and presence, don't be afraid. You are one with us. We are in that same space with you. Everybody got it? Okay. So, when Jesus came and walked among us, Jesus loved us in the human love. Jesus brought human love to us. He loved us with compassion. He taught us with his truth. He was rabbi teacher. He had compassion on all of the demands that people made. He was kind and honest. He loved them as a brother. Human love. He also brought the love of God. And he loved each one as God would love them, accepting their choices. Whoever did not come, he did not ridicule. Whoever didn't want to hear him, he never said anything bad about them. He said, "I came for my own. I came for those that need me." He allowed, if you are right and your world is working for you, you don't need me. That is what he said. "I did not come for the righteous who are already on their path and they're doing well. I came for you guys because you need to hear me and you want to hear me. I came for you." That beautiful love and acceptance of the Father came through him as well. Jesus was the manifestation of human love and divine love. And that is why we love him so. And aren't there times when we need the brother? We need Brother Jesus. I have a client who talks to Brother Jesus quite a lot. Brother Jesus. There are times we need that. We need that human compassion. We need to be able to hold him. Have you ever just ran into his arms and cried? You need that human connection with that being who was a man. We need that. And then when he looks at you with that unconditional love in your meditations in its perfect, pure power, and he says, "Stand up now. Stand up. we need that divine from him as well. Jesus brought the both. And that's this feeling of Christmas that we celebrate. We love our human and we love our spirit. And we need our human and we need our spirit. We need that beautiful energy of balance, because this is how we create heaven on earth. Bringing heaven through our hearts and our minds into our emotional bodies, our physical bodies, and our 3D, I will say, reality, the world we've created, whatever we want to define it as. We bring heaven to it, and that is our job. And we follow Jesus because he did it. He left a path for us to follow, bringing God's love through us, through our human, and through our divine. How simple is this? The love of God came through to man, a human love. And that is the story of Christmas. You ready to meditate? All right, let's put our feet on the floor. Father, Mother God, we open our hearts and we celebrate that day that the consciousness of mankind shifted. And I would invite each of you, just breathe in a beautiful column of light coming over you now. And just take a moment to allow the Christmas angels to love you in this column of light. You can feel your own emotions, your own physical body, but lift up into that beautiful energy of Christmas love. Lift up. Let the angels just lift you up a little bit until you can feel yourself just standing in a beautiful open space. God love all around you. And begin to hear Christmas brings heaven to earth. Christmas brings heaven to earth. Breathe it in and feel. And I would invite you now just to begin to recognize, image in, sense or feel, however it comes to you, the presence of Jesus the Christ. However it appears is fine. And I invite you to send your human, personal love to him. It may start with just gratitude, thank you so much. But as you send a thought of something to Jesus, feel your love, your heart chakra opening, and feel love beginning to move to him. With my human heart, I love you. I am grateful to walk with you. I am honored to follow your path. These are Cindy words. Use your words, whatever you need to say personally. And feel his human love coming back to you. See his eyes sparkle. See his human love come back. I know you. I love you. And now begin to see his eyes become radiant and bright and feel that beautiful light of God. A light that is far beyond our ability to understand on this earth plane. Filled with universal wonders, peace. And feel the love of God coming through his eyes to you. Receive it. I receive the love of the divine. And I ask that my divine I am self quicken as well to wake up. And if you can begin to feel it, if you can send that divine love to Jesus, take his hand and say, we are one. And breathe. And as you stand, feel the beautiful Christmas angels all around you. Feel the celebration of heaven on earth. And I want you to become aware of many, many souls on the earth that might need some more human love in this moment. So you're not even going to focus on them. You're just going to take a big breath in, and we're all just going to send human love, divine love, mixed up to the earth. Anyone who needs it, send it now. Take a breath, sending that human love, divine love. Send it down to anyone who needs it on the earth. My brother, my sister, I got you. I got you. I can send in love. And feel how good it feels to be among those who can bring in heaven on earth. Take a breath. Let your focus come to your heart. Very gently bring your awareness down the column of light. Feeling those angelic forces still all around you. Jesus still with you. I am divine by design. I stand in that beautiful plan God has for me. I am his child. Feel the gratitude, take a breath, send your love into your life. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. I hope you could feel, sense, or see something. You know, sometimes if it does not come in the moment, it will come later because you have opened and asked. So be willing and ready to have that moment where you feel the love of God pouring into you and touching you. And I would invite you all to come and join us on candle lighting, and you will have another opportunity just to feel that Christmas love as a family together. Say, yay, God. Yay, God.